Welcome to the Sun today for the 12th of January 2022. Today we had a very violent coronal mass ejection. We'll follow our usual game plan, first talking about the sunspots, then flares, coronal mass ejections, see what the solar wind is doing and how that's affecting geospace. Well, here's the sun as it appeared just a few hours ago, so let's take a look at the sunspot groups in order. First we'll start with active region 2924 in the southwest corner. It's the largest region on the sun and has two major spots in it with some small spots forming between the two of them. This region seems fairly stable at the moment and possibly decaying. You can see there are still some light bridges in the major spot groups. Then we have a newly numbered region, active region 2926, forming in the northwest corner of the sun. Has grown a large number of sunspots in the last few days. We have another region that formed yesterday, and that too is growing quite quickly over the last 24 hours. We still have a few tiny remnant spots up in the northeast. They're getting very difficult to see, and I doubt that will be a serious region tomorrow. We have a new region forming in the northeast here. You can just see one single spot at the moment, but that may well grow in the next day or two. Then we have active region 2927, another newly numbered region. At the moment it's just one large spot. And then we have our old favorite active region 2925, which is also a single large spot at the moment. The official sunspot number from the Solar Influences Data Center shows a slow rise. It's about the same level as it was this time last rotation at about 80. That's an increase over yesterday. Now we get to what I think is the interesting thing. We'll take a look at the GOES X-ray flux. And you can see in this orange curve that it nearly reaches the sea level and changes very suddenly. It increases by about a factor of 3 in just a few hours and remains high for up to 10 hours. This is what is called a long duration event and is a signal of a large coronal mass ejection. So that's what we're going to take a look and see where it was and what it was. Let's first take a look at the sunspot movie from the Solar Dynamics HMI instrument. This is going to be a 2-day movie from the 10th to the 12th of January. Next we'll take a look around for that flare, and to do that we're going to use the 94 angstrom channel from the SDO AIA instrument, which is about a 6 million degree plasma. Next we'll take a look at the Soho-Lascaux movie, which is looking at the outer corona, and this is where you're going to see right at the end of this movie the coronal mass ejection. It's going off at about 10:30 on the clock face, and it's very, very fast and very, very large. The solar wind, it's fairly quiet. It's BZ, that's the vertical component of the magnetic field, is pretty close to 0, so there's not very much chance of any significant reconnections on the sun. The density is dropping back down again to about 4 or 5 per cubic centimeter. The speed is pretty average at about 400 kilometers per second, and the temperature is just below 100,000 degrees Kelvin. Again, nothing particularly out of the ordinary there. The KP index being about 1 or less shows that the volume of geospace is very quiescent at the moment. So what conclusions can we draw from all of this? The sunspot number is increasing steadily and is about the same as it was on the last rotation of the sun. So the high level of activity is actually holding at the moment. We had a long duration flare behind the east limb of the sun, and the coronal mass ejection associated with it was very violent, very fast. Note that in 10 days' time, that region will be pointed straight at the Earth. If we get something like that, we could be in for a very strong geomagnetic storm. However, regions don't generally keep up high levels of activity for that long, and it is fairly far north, so may well miss the Earth in any case. But nonetheless, it's something to bear in mind over the next few days, and watch what comes over the east limb and how violent it is in terms of flares and coronal mass ejections in the coming days. So there's lots to look forward to. So until next time, stay safe and goodbye.